Welcome everyone. Today we'll have a wish guide for the new Albedo banner. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Most of us want some of the 4 stars, and over here we'll have a very interesting screenshot showing Bennett as the new 5-star character. Notice Albedo's over here. So this is the edited Photoshop, and what we're going to look at is we're going to focus on the 4-star for this particular guide. In this video, we'll look at the soft pity for the 5-star and also the 4-star characters, and what are the recommendations for the 4-star characters, what are the rates of getting a particular 4-star character. We'll also look into the average number of wishes required for a specific 4-star character in the retail banner. So for 1 copy, it's 36, up to 7 copies for 252 for the whole Constellation. We'll be using a number of rates, calculations, and simulations for those 4-star characters and look into the exact probabilities for those characters. We'll also look into the characters' constellations, characters' usage, because in the next part of the guide, we'll look into what constellation for those 4-star characters make them good, improves on them, or make them great. They can also be a trap with Bennett as well. We'll touch on those. We'll also look into, are you saving for a 5-star character, and how should you approach to not waste your 5-star resource, say your 5-star 100% guarantee, and where should you stop. We'll also look into a very important part is to actually go with your Acquainted fate first, because if you're wishing on the patch 1.2, you'll be getting quite a few Acquainted fates. We want to get a few of the desirable characters first to reduce the cost of resource, which is more valuable with the intertrade and also the primal gems. Now let's start the video with a brief summary of what is a soft pity. So this is a post by Acquainted over here, and he was using the rates from the Chinese simulator post. So what's happening is, if you guys want a more detailed summary, I recommend coming over to this particular video, which will talk about the rates, how they work, and how we can benefit from better rates using different strategies. To give you guys a short summary, if you're going for a 5-star character, so if you want Albedo or a specific 4-star, if we're going for the 5-star character, we're aiming for the 76 soft pity, with about 40% chance of getting a 5-star item between 75 and 80. So those are the rows. So for 1 to 20 rows, we'll go for single wishes. For 21 to 70, we go for the multi 10 times wishes. And for 71 and plus, we go for single wishes again to have the highest chance of getting Albedo or any of the 5-star characters. Now this is the most important part. We're looking into the specific 4-star character soft pity, and this starts on the 8th row. So coming back to this post, this was pretty much calculated while the simulation was going on. And similar to the 75 soft pity for the 5 stars, the soft pity exists for the 4 stars, and this happens on the 8th draw. If we come into the game, this is currently looking at the Zonly banner. What you're going to see is, you're going to see the 50% rate up for the 4-star characters. If we're going to the details, we're going to see the 13% consolidated rate. Keep in mind, the Zonly consolidated rate, or the 5-star consolidated rate, is 1.6%. This only happens after 90 rows. But the consolidated rate for the 4 stars happens every 10 rows. So the 13% happens very frequently. Now using those information, let's say if you want a particular character like Bennett, because we saw over here the Bennett is like, highlighted over here, photoshopped into a 5-star. So if you're looking for a particular 4-star like Bennett, we should be going for the soft pity on the 8th, 9th, and the 10th row. So we're only going for single summon wishes. And there's 2 reasons for this. One is that we're not doing 10 times wishes. If you got enough Bennett, you don't need more, so you're saving your gems because you're not going for 10 rows each time. You also reduce the chance of unwanted 5-star. We'll talk about this after, because there's some people who might not want to go for Albedo. They might be saving for Genyu, so they don't want to get an unwanted 5-star. So going for single wishes is great. Using the rates from the in-game details, we can see that 50% of the time a 4-star item appears, which is also a 4-star rate up character. So in about 16.67%, we'll get a particular character like Bennett we wanted. Now coming back to this post by Psychosynth, we spoke about this in a previous video, so if you guys haven't seen this video, I do recommend having a good look. We spoke about this one in more details. But at the moment, I'll give you guys a quick summary. So this particular post or this particular table is very useful because it allows you to look at, if you're looking for a particular 4-star, how many on average do you need to roll for this character for 1 constellation, 2 constellation, up to the 7 copy for 6 constellation. So knowing this, what we can do is we can look for those numbers. Let's say if I'm currently having 2 vessels, I want to get my vessel to constellation 6, so I need 5 more vessels. So 7 minus 2 is 5, right? So those are the numbers. The 5 and 180 are the numbers I'm looking at. So on average, if I'm rolling for a Constellation 6 vessel, I'll be expecting it will take me about 180 wishes to get all of my vessels copies to get to Constellation 6. So 1 copy is about 36 on average for the rate up 4 stars. and up to the 7th copy for Constellation 6 for 252. Now right away guys, this might seem to be a lot higher because those averages usually consider a lot of numbers and a lot of rates. But keep in mind, while we're rolling for those characters, we'll be getting multiple copies of the other 4-star characters. So if I come back to this table, what you're going to see is it's average 252 for one particular copy, for 7 particular copy of one of those rate up 4 stars. But if we're going for all of those to Constellation 6, it's only 334 wishes. Now I know, I'm saying it's only 334 wishes, it's quite a bit. Most of us are not going for Constellation 6, and I'll talk about the benefits of going for Constellation 1 for a particular character, and the benefits of going for Constellation 6 as a comparison. So now knowing the average number of wishes needed for one of those rate up characters, and knowing those probabilities, and we're going to go for single rows, it is very likely guys, you will get a particular 4-star character before the 36th row. Because if you don't care which 4-star character you get, likely you get them under the 8th or after the 8th row. So the 36 is guaranteed the character you wanted for the 4-star. So those are more estimation numbers. I'm sure most of you will have better luck, and finger crossed you get the characters you wanted. Now I spoke earlier about not needing a higher constellation for most of those characters. So we're going to jump to point 4 right now, then we're going to come back to point 2 and point 3. So coming over to point 4, what constellation should I stop with the constellations for those 3 characters, Sakros, Burnett, and Vessel? I've made a small summary. So Sakros gets good with Constellation 1, improves on Constellation 2, gets great on Constellation 6. Similarly, Burnett gets great on Constellation 1, and he can be a trap on Constellation 6. Finally, Vessel doesn't really change much with any of the constellations until Constellation 6. I'll quickly go through the characters for you guys to show you guys why. For Sakros, she will be getting additional charge of her E-spell, giving her more chance for Anemo combos and also more energy recharge. Also, she extends the duration of her ultimate for 2 seconds with Constellation 2. And that is why I said Sakros is the one that benefits the most from Constellation 1 and Constellation 2. If we keep going with Sakros, you have to get Constellation 6 for the elemental damage bonus, which is for the whole party. Now, it is not necessary for the 20% elemental damage bonus, but it's great because she really supports for high damage. Now, if you haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so. Make sure you also turn the bell on for the latest news as I find more of them for us. You can see that we're really dedicated for Genshin Impact. We'll have builds, guides, tips, news, and events updates for everything that's Genshin Impact related. So logically, we can go for Sakura's with Constellation 1 or Constellation 2. Sometimes you don't even need constellations, because Sakura's passive already gave us Elemental Mastery and also increase more Elemental Mastery with her ultimate. So in that sense, Sakura's benefits the most from constellations, and followed by that, Burnett wants 1 constellation. If we come to Burnett over here, we can see that his first constellation is the biggest. This is because the attack increase is no longer restricted by HP. Initially, we're restricted by the 70% HP. After that, we're no longer restricted. Also, Burnett increased everyone's damage by his base attack percentage by 56% when he casts his ultimate. Now keep in mind, Burnett's ultimate applies increased base attack damage, so that comes from his normal attack from character and also weapon. It doesn't take in consideration of the attack percentage. So by having this increase by 20% means he goes from 56% to 76%. This makes him incredibly good with Constellation 1. Everything else really doesn't change much for the constellations. You know, he doesn't really need to do that much damage with higher skill levels, and he gets a little more healing. It's not a big deal. Now, why do I say Burnett is a trap with Constellation 6? Notice here, I say he can be a trap. It's because with Constellation 6, he does great things for Pyro characters. He will increase the damage by 15%. But at the same time, he's gonna buff everyone within his circle of ultimate for Pyro damage. Pyro damage is one of those damages that overrides most of the other damages. Say if you're going for electric or if you're going for something else, you might be overridden. For characters like Bidu, Vessel, characters like... Now Vessel doesn't work because she's not a melee. So characters like Bidu, characters like Razor, characters like Kachin who are going for electric damage, your character's damage will turn into Pyro. And this is irreversible. So if you turn Burnett into Constellation 6, this can be a massive trap. So keep this in mind, guys. If you're getting a lot of Burnett, you might not want to go for Constellation 6 with him unless you're certain. Right now, we cannot switch off the constellations, and this might work back against us, because previously he works with everyone. Then he only buffs everyone into Pyro, and that's not great. And finally, coming over to the Constellation 6 of Vessel. So initially her Constellation really doesn't do much. It only works well if Vessel is going for a main carry character like a main DPS on the field, but most of the time we don't need her to do additional damage that much. The Constellation 6 allows her bird to have 2 more seconds on the field. Additionally, whoever deals damage, the bird will also deal 30% of Vessel's damage as electric damage. This dramatically increases the damage output and also the duration of the bird. So, unless you're going for Constellation 6 Vessel, she works with any level, but the Constellation 6 makes her incredibly powerful because you can go for multiple attacks and this will proc this bird multiple times. And this summarizes to it, guys. You can see right away, we kinda just need a Constellation 1 Sacros and a Constellation 1 Bennett to be really good. Constellation 2 helps with Sacros, but after that, you really have to go for Constellation 6. So you either invest very little for the first Constellation and then stop there, or you can invest a lot then go for 6 Constellations for everyone. Now if you're going for the 6 Constellation for everyone, make sure you don't fall under the Bennett trap. So don't unlock Bennett's Constellation with Constellation 6 right away. Double check everything, make sure you know what's happening. Now we spoke earlier, what happens when you're saving for another 5-star like Ganyu, like Xiao, or maybe Ayaka in the future? So if you're actually not planning to get Albedo in this particular banner, you must double check do you have a limited banner 100% guarantee that's currently accumulated. Because if you do, the next 5-star you get will automatically become Albedo, and this is a very variable resource. This guarantee alone is worth about $100 of USD, so you really don't want to waste this. So you want to double check in your history. So what you do is you come to your wish system and go into history and then go into the limited banner. So the character event wish, double check everything. Notice I got Zonli now. That took away my guarantee. So if your last item of 5-star is not the limited character like Zonli or maybe Klee or maybe Child, then you're guaranteed for the next character to be the limited banner item. Now you might be wondering, why is this 100% guarantee so important? Because it takes up to anywhere from 75 to 80 rolls to get a guarantee, and this guarantee is actually making sure the next character you wanted is guaranteed to be those characters. So this is actually extremely valuable, and I strongly recommend everyone to double check your current wish history to know if you have this guarantee. Now let's say if you have the guarantee, I really don't recommend going beyond 75th row for the characters. Let's say if you don't want a battle, don't go over to the 75th row, because your rate of getting those characters dramatically increase. They increase by about 40% chance between 75 and 80. So stop at 75 and then just wait for the next banner, then roll for the 4-stars and the 5-stars. This is because although we get a higher rate for the rate up 4-stars in this banner, those characters are not limited. So Bennett, Sacros, Vessel, they will come back in the future. They're always in the banners. You can find them in any of the banners. The rate of finding them is a little lower of course, but there's no reason guys to go for the 4-stars and use your 100% guarantee. Now on the chance that you don't have your 100% guarantee, we're still looking at about 50% chance of getting our battle. If you don't want to risk that, you can also do the similar method over here. So stop at 75 for the safest. I'm not saying you won't get a 5-star before 75. Sometimes you might get lucky before that as well, so keep that in mind. Now coming to our third point, and turns out to be the final point, is that most of you know that we'll be getting free Acquainted Fate from the patch 1.2, level 50, level 20, level 50, level 70 free gift. So one character can give you up to 3 free wishes. And what we want to do is, we want to look at the resource comparison. Currently, Primal Gems is the universal resource. After that, Intertwined Fate is much more rare compared to Acquainted Fate, because those ones are fixed on the standard banner, which does not give us the 100% character guarantee, so keep that in mind. So what you want to do is, you want to spend the lower tier resource first, then go for the next tier, then go for the next tier. So if we're going to roll for characters, let's say if I'm looking for 2 Bennett, or I'm looking for 2 Sacros, so from the Constellation over here, what I can do is, I can use all of my Acquainted Fate first before rolling with Intertwined Fate. And if I happen to get 1 to 2 desirable characters like Sacros or Bennett, now I know I can roll less with the Intertwined Fate on this particular banner. And this also goes back, what if you don't want our battle, so you don't have to roll much. So save the most valuable resource and roll with Acquainted Fate first. If you've seen my previous videos, I talk about how to get over 40 free Acquainted Fate with patch 1.2 and how to prioritize the characters for level 20 and level 50. So make sure we spend Acquainted Fate, then get a few of the desirable characters and save those resources for the future. So go for Ganyu, we can go for Xiao, we can go for Ayaka in the future. Now, I'm sure most of you are very excited with patch 1.2, with the new characters, new zones and everything, but it's really important, guys, to keep in mind. Remind ourselves we're not here to overspend money. We want to spend with moderation, have a budget, and try to not overspend it, because, most of the gacha games don't feel like it's a Pokemon game. Try to not feel like you want to catch them all. It's okay to not have some of the characters, and you don't need, any of the constellations to feel good. We're here to have fun with patch 1.2, and we'll be making a lot of videos, a lot of guides for those. So try to not force yourself to spend too much money, because remember this, guys, every 20 days you'll be getting a new banner. If you get into the habit of overspending, then you can't stop, because you'll be like, oh, I spent 100 last banner, how can I just spend $10 here, and I must spend another 100. Before you know it, you're spending like $200 to $300 a month into the game, and that's not where most of us want to be. So spend with moderation, have a budget, and aim to not overspend. And I wish you guys all the best luck with the new banners to come. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe and also turn the little bell on for the latest news. I'll be looking towards to make more builds, guides, tips, and news and event updates for us as we come further into the game. And as always, I wish you guys the best of luck with Genshin and have the most fun in exploring this wonderful world.